Have you ever wondered that what is time? Time is that if you haven't wondered, then I'll make you wonder by explaining it. Yay. Let's start. Then what is time? For many scientists and many people, the time is that thing that moves in forward direction. But it is partially true because for explaining all of the theories, all of the gravitational theories and another thing, we need a universal meaning of time. That is not that thing. If I think that universal meaning, I don't think that I'm thinking. Sorry for this. Let's start. That what is time? For me, the time is a circular loop which repeats itself in a very high frequency. Like and remember that time is also a vector quantity. Okay. Yeah. Let's draw a time loop. Let us take that this is time loop and it repeats itself in very high frequency. Okay. Why I'm saying that it is repeating in itself high frequency in only a circular loop? Because it cannot be a rectangle, triangle, and another shape. It is a universal shape, and avoid anything we can explain with this circle. Okay, that's why I'm taking this, and it is really helpful for me. It repeats itself every time. Okay, in very high frequency. But it is I said that it is a vector quantity. So when it has to be the initial point. So when it starts from here and completes its one whole revolution and comes to its initial path, the displacement becomes zero. The displacement of time, which means time, which means the real time that we see, is zero. And when the time is zero, then this whole thing, that whole motion, will be equal to infinity. Indeterminate means infinite. The speed of this whole motion or the frequency of this whole motion will be equal to infinite. How? Let's say I've said that when it reaches to its initial position after one complete revolution, the real time, the real time becomes zero. And when the real time becomes zero, then the motion of this whole circular loop, we can explain that the speed equal to distance upon time. Then the time becomes zero, the speed becomes infinite. Okay, and the speed becomes infinite, and it regains, which means that in its whole speed, it repeats in constant frequency, which is infinite. We can say that the frequency is infinite, and if the frequency is infinite, which means that there is nothing with it. There is nothing which is sticking to it. So we have understood that what is time. Okay, it is a circular loop which repeats itself in motion, and when any matter that I am explaining now the properties of time. What is the properties of time? It is that when any matter comes into the contact with time or exists. Sorry, I was explaining. And I've explained that what is time. So if you want a good explanation one more time, then you can just contact me. Then let's start with, okay, yes, before starting the properties of the time, I want to explain one more thing. That is, in the world, many of them you think that there is no time. Then, so I want to tell them that there is time, but that I will explain. There is time. There is time. I know what to say now. I'm a little confused, but I want to explain it. That in the world, many of you think that there is no time, okay? But there is time, but there is also no time. I know this is absurd, but you have to. I will give you explanation. let's see, suppose this is a null void. Okay, in this null void that I've said that when there's no matter, it's an initial null void. Okay, when there was no there was no matter there, then the time was in the form of loop that I've explained you just. Okay, when there is loop, and one more time, yes, and no, nothing else, sorry. There's a loop. I'll denote the time in the form, denote this time in the form of circle. Okay, loop, loop. It is all spread over or in the universe. Time. That's all time. Okay. This time was all spread over or under the universe not under the universe, under the null, all spread it. Okay. And this as we can say that in this null void there is time. Then for proving that the time is equal to 0, we can I will explain that the time is a vector quantity and has its initial position. We take this. When it repeats itself, completes one revolution and reaches to its starting point, the real time. As the displacement becomes 0 in our universe, we can say that for vector, like in this, the time when it reaches to its initial position becomes 0. When it becomes 0, it tends to infinity. The motion of this whole circular loop tends to the frequency of this whole circular loop tends to infinity, which is we can simply that I will explain that V is equal to d upon s, as s is the time, d upon t, and d upon 0 here, which is equal to infinity. Means that here here time becomes 0 and the motion of this time becomes infinite, which means the frequency of this whole time becomes infinite. Okay, as the motion of this is infinite, which means the frequency of this time also is infinite. If the frequency of this time is also infinite, it will reach at this point infinite time, which means that it will reach this t equal to 0, time equal to 0, infinite time. So we can say that this whole is equal to, for us, the t is equal to 0. For Flash, it is nothing. It is only a smoke. Okay. Okay. Yes. Here we can say that the time will equal to 0 here. So this time, whole time that is spread over the universe is equal to 0, which means there is no time, but there is time. As I've said, I have explained this, that there is no time, but there is time in universe. So from this, I will also explain that how this null void gain its matter, like string theory. I'll make a time theory. As without wasting any time, I will tell you that what is the property of time. That because I have to start with the time theory to explain all those things that I have ever think. So what is the time property? The property of time is that when any other matter or the object comes into exist in null order, then time gets sticks to it and provide its motion. Just remember that thing, okay? Then let's say that this is time plus any matter, arbitrary matter, will give the time that sticks to it and takes the shape of this matter, and the frequency, and it repeats or it rotates according to the shape of it. and when it repeated the shape of it, it can take the frequency can become low. The frequency can become uh, determined or indefinite, which we can measure. Okay, as inner word, it is when inner word, when this matter, when the time it comes to its initial position with when the inner word, the matter is there and the time sticks to it, and and when the time gets reached to its initial position after repeating one complete cycle, the time provides it a motion, and we can say that here it will also provide infinite motion. So if it will provide an infinite motion, so we can say that in the void the matter cannot be that much. Yes, it will also provide its motion. I don't know how much, but here the displacement or the displacement cannot be equal to zero according to Euclidean geometry. This will explain afterward. Just you have to think about this. Okay. Let me just explain that. Okay. According to Euclidean geometry, that the whole, that the uniform, that the time is uniform. Okay. The uniform shape, or like in a Euclidean space, when the point between two means the point between 2 points, and we have to measure, then we can apply a Pythagoras theorem. Okay, then when this space or this distorted, this space gets distorted, the distance between those points changes, as it has not to be happened, but it happened. The distance also changes between this point. So we can same thing apply to this, as we can think that this matter is shape and this is the distance, and this whole square loop is a distance. When it sticks to it, and when it repeats one cycle, the time is not equal to zero here. The time cannot be equal to zero when it is equal, when it is sticks to matter. It has to be, the time has to tend to zero, but not equal to zero, which means that it can be indefinite. The time can be definite, but it can be very low. Definite. So definite time is for this will be very low. Like it can be equal to 10 raised to the power minus. Let's think that minus 30. If we put it as if the t is equal to 10 raised to the power minus 30 second here, we can, then the motion of this can be equals to, the motion of this matter will be very high, but not equals to infinity. If the size of, as I have said that this time has a very small size, which means that we can measure time in size also, but it is a high far. It is all. Sorry. This time is a very small. If the same height or same, which means the same size that the time has, we put here same size of a matter, then it sticks to it, a uniform matter, then it sticks to it, and provide it's a t equal to 0, and it has at t is equal to 0 at the initial point, because there is no distortion in this which we in this time, and the t's can be equal to 0, and the size of this matter is equal to size of this time, which will give this matter an infinite speed. As we know that the speed of light is the only speed which cannot be uh, which cannot be what I'm saying. Sorry. If we stick time with that matter which is of same size of that of time, then it is like this is time and the same measurement there is also a matter. Then when they combine, there will be no change in the shape of this path of this time, and this time has its initial point 0 initial point, and here the displacement or the time will be equal to 0. If time will be equal to 0, then the frequency it will be infinite. If the frequency is infinite, yes, if the frequency is infinite, which means the speed of this matter will be infinite. Okay, this time will provide its motion as of infinite speed if the size of this if the size of the matter is equal to the size of the time or less than the size of the time. Okay, it's the one more property left, that we can add time. We can also, this time acts like algebraical expression which can be added or subtracted, which means that if there is a body object, and here it is not possible that for a huge object to have a very huge time to get sticked off. So this time the time has as the time of as the measurement of time is limited, as it cannot extend that much high, that much measurement. So what it do is that the time which means that the different time, which means the same size and the same size, it gets sticks to the body of that arbitrarily shaped or giant thing, and add and gets add to make a full and real time of that object. So the bigger the object, the less time, the less will be frequency. The less will be frequency, which is approximately equal to 0, and the time to cover this, the time will be observable, and the time to cover this, we can say that it can be definite. The time to cover this can be we can calculate. Okay, this is all the property of the time. Now I will tell you the time theory or string theory, solution of string theory. Okay, as you understand the definition of time, then it will not take more than 2 minutes to understand this time theory. So let's start. Suppose that this is a null word. I've explained that time here, that the whole time of this null void is equal to 0 for us. But let us make here all time which is spread over the null void or under the null void. Okay. This is time loop. It is not that much bigger. I know this is that much for making you understand. I'm making it bigger. Okay. This time, as I've said that there is a time when there is nothing. I'm explaining you that the solution of string theory or new string theory, that is time theory. Okay. When there was nothing in the world, only the time was there. Do you agree? If you not agree, you have to agree this. there is only time there, time loop, which is equal to 0. But the frequency of this time is infinite. That I've told, okay? If the frequency of this time is infinite, then as the time is equal to 0 at its initial point, then the frequency has to be infinite, that I have explained here, explained before. Then when the frequency is equal to infinite, which means the vibration of this time is equal to infinite. As it is repeating itself, that's why I'm calling it a vibration, as its frequency is infinite, which means the vibration. As the vibration is infinite, as we know that vibration energy is also vibration is also a kind of energy, and every energy is converted into mass. Remember, mass equals to mc square. So if this is a kind of energy, it is vibrating, it will produce mass, which is smaller than its size, which means the whole null void is getting filled with this matter because of time. Without time, there was nothing in our universe or null void. We cannot be here, which means, okay, that's his historic moment for me. It will make time. It will also make time. It will also make mass. It will also make mass. It will also make mass. The time which the matter which is produced by time we can call as fundamental matter. Can be gluon, I don't know. Can be gluon, quarks, or anything. It is making, and when all this comes into exist in null void, I've said that time has a sticky property which sticks to matter when it comes into exist. Then the time gets sticks to it and provides. As we can say that the time is making this matter cannot be equal to its size, can be smaller than its size, okay, smaller than size, okay, and then it will provide its then it is provide it as a then it is provide it as a motion which is equal to infinite speed. Go to infinite speed. Yes. Infinite speed in the whole null void. Every time the time is making this matter and filling our null void with all this matter, and these all are the ingredients of our universe. And in next video I'll tell you that how our universe is created and how this multiverse is also created. Okay, from this, as you are thinking that it has an infinite speed, which means that it has to be as infinite mass. And this is wrong, saying that when the speed is when we increase our speed of mass, then the mass of the object gets increased. Because in this universe it is applied, because in this universe the space is our limit. And in next video I'll also tell that space, how is time is related to space, and in this space and how does it making a limit for our for us. That's and I'll tell you why the speed of light is the only speed that we cannot reach. Yes, speed of light or greater than the speed of light. So this infinite speed, as there is no limit as there is no space or no limit in this null void, so this infinite speed will gain by it, and the mass will remain unchanged. You have to remember this. The mass will remain unchanged. That is how this will become a real theory. Or it's not. I'm not doing because I have to make this theory apply forcefully. It is thinked. It is thinked. It is an idea that I am giving to you. It can be true or it can be false. I don't know, but it sounds interesting. That's why I've given you this idea. So in the next video I will tell you that how the universe is made and how time and space makes a limit for us to reach to the speed or greater than the speed of light. And later video I will tell you how this universe and how this macroscopic and microscopic world is interrelated or connected. I've think from this only time theory. First you have to understand this, and then you can understand everything in this universe. Thank you. Bye.